My wife and I shared 5 years together, celebrating 4 years of marriage. Our connection spanned several years prior to that, and from this union, we have a wonderful 4-year-old child. I fulfilled the role of the primary provider for our household, while my wife has chosen to be a dedicated stay-at-home mother, opting not to re-enter the workforce. Over the past 18 months, we have found ourselves engaged in disagreement on a monthly basis, roughly about once or twice. It's important to clarify that I actively contribute to parenting our daughter, undertake cleaning and cooking responsibilities, and I'm deeply engaged with both of them. The initial mention of divorce arose during an argument that coincided with a situation where my sister requested a temporary stay due to her own relationship challenge. Ironically, I granted her request, which my wife did not receive favorably. In response, I pointed out a prior occasion when her friend stayed with us for 5 weeks, showing little involvement in household matters. This contrasted with my sister's active engagement and positive rapport with our daughter, and I had believed my wife shared that sentiment as well. She ended up staying with us for a whole week, pitching in around the house, preparing meals, keeping things tidy, and stepping in to watch over our daughter as need arose. In my perspective, it seemed like we both granted each other's forgiveness and managed to move past our differences. The disagreements that arise are usually rooted in minor issues, and interestingly, about 90% of these disagreements aren't initiated by me. I have proposed the idea of seeking therapy and counseling, yet she consistently rebuffed it, maintaining that such interventions was unnecessary for us. However, last night marked a turning point. She initiated a quarrel, asserting that I'm dedicating an excessive amount of time to my work. She conveyed feelings of abandonment and criticized my fatherhood, concluded her outburst with the statement that she wants a divorce. At that moment, I found the resolve to stand up and address the situation. I explained that my rigorous work schedule was primarily driven by her continued spending of our combined finances on non-essential items. I had clarified that I had inadvertently referred to the money as my money during arguments, when we had initially agreed to allocate funds towards shared bills, future spending, our daughter's future, and discretionary spending. Despite my earnest effort, she had opted against pursuing employment or education to alleviate our financial strain. I have been shouldering the responsibility of providing for our family, particularly for the sake of our daughter. I have consistently been present for her important milestones, events, medical appointments, essentially anything she requires. In contrast, my wife has been resistant to seeking assistance through therapy or counseling. Regrettably, I have reached a point where I no longer wish to continue this situation. I expressed my intention to have an attorney send her the divorce paper once she has them prepared. Subsequently, I gathered our daughter's belongings and left, accompanying her to my sister's residence. It's been 2 days, and she continues to call and text, expressing her apologies. She admits that she didn't mean what she said and is now open to the idea of counseling and therapy. She conveys her need for me, her longing for our connection, and more. I am faced with uncertainty about how to proceed. My feelings for her are strong, and I acknowledge her role as a good mother. Yet, I have reached a breaking point where I can no longer continue down the same path. To those reading this, I am seeking your advice and perspective. Reader comment. Personally, I wouldn't allow a friend to stay for an extended period, especially if it involves sharing the space with other family members. I value my personal space and find it uncomfortable to share my house with non-family members. Original poster. This was my initial sentiment as well. My daughter didn't feel at ease around her, which was a significant factor for me. Additionally, her behavior resembled that of treating our home as a free hotel, disregarding cleanliness. Reader comments. Ultimately, you have the freedom to choose your course of action. If you are inclined to give it another shot, then do so. If you feel it's best to walk away, then follow that path. In our household, we have a rule to never mention the D word, as it signifies a lack of respect for the marriage. I am attempting to decipher her underlying motives. Is her unhappiness genuine, or is she aiming to provoke a reaction from you? Regardless of the situation, please accept my virtual embrace. Original poster. I appreciate your words. I am genuinely unsure of her intentions. I don't resort to anger, shouting, or physical aggression. I am perplexed by what she accepted from me. The first instant the D word was mentioned was during our argument. I essentially conveyed that if that's her desired path to happiness, then divorce might be the only viable solution. This led me to pack my belongings and leave with my daughter. Reader comment, it appears that she might be suppressing a multitude of emotions that are now manifesting as outbursts towards you. Stubbornness and possibly even depression could be contributing factors. Stubborn individuals often resist seeking therapy, and many people experiencing depression may not recognize it themselves. They become lost and confused. Several comment has touched upon how emotionally taxing and identity shifting being a stay-at-home mom can be, which could be a significant source of her struggle. Consider embarking on a therapeutic journey together. In the end, the decision rests with you. Why divorce can be a necessary option in some certain situations. It is crucial not to immediately resort to it. It's important for her to understand the detrimental impact of repeatedly mentioning it without genuine cause. Ignore the extreme voice advocating for divorce and recognize that each situation is unique. You may very well be one that is mendable. If not, that realization will come with you. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever explicitly conveyed to her that she's squandering or misusing shared funds? Do you use the phrasing, your money, rather than our money? This distinction might inadvertently contribute to her reactions. Potentially, without your intention, marriage implies shared resources, not individual ownership. If she were to work, a substantial portion of her earnings could be directed towards childcare service. Your choice of word might subtly convey to her that she lacks the right to spend money on her desire since it's not truly hers. Even if this hasn't been the case, there might be actions you are taking unconsciously that are causing her pain. This is where therapy proves beneficial. It's a constructive step forward, even if the outcome is divorce. Progress takes time to manifest. Original poster, I want to clarify a point that seemed to have been overlooked. I would make the same decision again if faced with the same circumstances, including my decision to take my daughter with me. Additionally, I have actively encouraged my wife to engage in various activities such as seeking employment, pursuing hobbies, making new friends, and exploring different avenues. I have repeatedly suggested seeking professional help, but she has consistently rejected any idea I have presented. She would simply respond with no, or assert that she wasn't the root of the issues. My primary focus is on my daughter's well-being. I am committed to maintaining a healthy environment for her by avoiding conflict with my wife in her presence. My own upbringing was challenging. I experienced my parents' discord, my mother leaving, and my father directing his frustration at me. I am determined to shield my daughter from such experiences. While I am uncertain about my wife's intentions that night, I couldn't risk subjecting our daughters to potential turmoil. One cannot compare another person to seek help. Genuine motivation must come from within. Forcing someone into it once results to a mere compliance without true transformation. I recognize my own responsibility in our situation, and I'm resolute in ensuring my daughter understands that this behavior is not acceptable and that healthy relationship should not emulate what I witnessed in my childhood. I have been determined since a young age to break the cycle I observed in my own father. After posting my previous message, I had time to reflect. It became clear that I needed to convey the gravity of the situation to my wife. We had a candid conversation where I expressed that I could no longer continue as things were. The cycle of arguments and the threat of divorce needed to cease, and she acknowledged and agreed to this stipulation. I made it explicit that if such a threat was made again, it would mark the end of our relationship. We collectively decided to pursue therapy together, a decision that offered fresh perspective. During therapy session, we openly addressed our feelings and received professional insight that helped us better understand each other. Over time, progress was evident. My wife started investing more effort into our relationship. She took initiative to secure a job, develop new friendship, and even picked up a new hobby. In essence, the journey has been one of growth and change, and I remain hopeful about the path ahead. However, things took a turn when an argument erupted to a clash in our plan concerning our daughter. She had seemingly overlooked our prior arrangement and was unable to conceal the other commitment she had made with her new co-workers. As the argument seemed to draw to a close, she muttered quietly under her breath, "I knew marrying you was a mistake." I gasped at her, but what struck me most was how unfamiliar she seemed. She appeared almost like a different person before my eyes. I couldn't recognize the woman standing in front of me. I requested her to repeat what she had said, and she responded, "I should have divorced you years ago." Without another word, I walked away, taking my daughter to the planned event by ourselves. In the aftermath, I initiated the process of filing for legal separation. The term we both agreed upon stipulates that while we were separated, we would remain legally married and not engage in romantic relationship with each other during this period. Our finances would be separated, but existing bill arrangements would remain in place. I would continue to provide insurance coverage through my work. The agreement also mandated ongoing therapy sessions, both individually and as a couple. As part of the arrangement, I would move in with my sister and we would share custody of our daughter, with a split of 70% me and 30% her. On a specific day, when I needed my wife to take our daughter, as previously arranged, I arrived at the house in the morning to an unfamiliar car in the driveway. My initial thought was that she might have a friend or a new acquaintance over. I mustered the courtesy to ring the bell, about the peculiarity of ringing it at my own home. A young man, shirtless and about 20, answered the door, inquiring about my identity and purpose. I asked for my wife. He summoned her, and she emerged from around the corner, her expression transitioning from curiosity to shock, horror, and finally sadness. Consequently, it became evident that when the 3-month period of legal separation concludes, I will proceed with filing for a decree of dissolution of our marriage. Throughout the tumultuous period, my top priority remains the well-being and safety of our daughter. She may not fully comprehend the complexity, but she is fully aware that her parents are not content with one another, and I am steadfast in ensuring her stability and happiness. I suppose I have done one thing I always vowed to avoid, a promise I made to myself, never to replicate. Nonetheless, circumstances may have guided me in this direction. It seemed I have ended up mirroring my parents' path. The image of a healthy relationship is elusive to me, and my aspiration now is to simply demonstrate the immense love I have for my daughter and strive to be the best parent I can be. Reader comment: based on your account, it doesn't appear that you have followed the same path as your father. You have placed your daughter as a top priority, ensuring her well-being by removing her from an unhealthy environment. You have made a conscious choice to prioritize her above all else, rather than a matter of understanding the ideal shape of a relationship. It's often about the unprecedentability of how a person can change over time. Our knowledge of someone remains limited to the facet they reveal, and we cannot anticipate the entirety of their transformation. Given the circumstances of your decision seem to be the most appropriate ones. Original poster: I find myself feeling as though I never truly know her, only being acquainted with the side of her that she chose to reveal. My sincere hope is that I'm steering my daughter's life in the right direction. Thank you for your understanding. Reader comment: your narrative, particularly concerning your daughter, is truly remarkable. Your soon-to-be ex-wife seemed to be grappling with her own troubles. A healthy relationship is one where both individuals consciously choose happiness within mutually established boundaries. It doesn't signify a life devoid of challenge. Instead, it denotes an arrangement where both partners cooperate rather than oppose each other. Unfortunately, it seems your wife has taken the latter route, working against you rather than in harmony. She harbored an underlying desire to manipulate rather than genuinely embrace marriage, leveraging love and the relationship for her intentions. Your decision to remove your daughter from this environment was crucial. On a somber note, prepare for a potential legal battle ahead. Perhaps your wife's current focus is showcasing her new partner in a tactical attempt to provoke a reaction from you. Be vigilant, document everything while seeking support. Remember that your action and behavior may be scrutinized. That may seek evidence to undermine you. Claiming alimony, vie for custody, child support, and more. I recommend determining 125% of the state suggested payment and crafting a budget in preparation. Original poster. I have a tendency to hold onto records and not delete them, which has proven valuable throughout this process. I have already sought advice from my lawyer, and it's clear that this will be a significant legal battle. I anticipate that many of the divorce terms will resemble those outlined in the separation order. Significantly, specifically focusing on aspects such as selling the house, asset division, and financial arrangement. My ultimate hope is that with time, my daughter comprehend the reason behind my actions. I aspire for her to understand that enduring an unhealthy relationship is not a necessity, and that my decision to remain in that situation may have extended longer than it should have. Reader comment. I feel a sense of sadness, my friend. The fact that she introduced another man during the separation period raised suspicion. She might have already been involved with him, or could be using the separation as a cover for an affair. Though it's speculative, it does seem plausible. Depending on your location, divorce lawyers vary from state to state, so it's wise to familiarize yourself with the legal specifics in your jurisdiction. Blocking your ex number and utilizing a parenting app could prove beneficial, allowing you to prioritize your own well-being and your daughter's need over maintaining contact with your soon-to-be ex-wife. Moreover, investing in self-improvement is crucial. Engaging in weightlifting and fitness activities can specifically contribute to both your physical and mental health. Transforming yourself holistically is a worthwhile endeavor, especially given your age. You still have plenty of time for personal growth and development. Rest assured, the right person, someone far better suited for you than your ex, will eventually cross your path. Focus on your personal growth, and the person who genuinely deserves you will undoubtedly come into your life. Please continue to keep us updated. Original poster. When I asked to see my wife, he appeared equally surprised. His response along the lines of, "I didn't know you were married." After a moment, he added, "I'm sorry, bro. It turns out he was just a one-night stand. I am currently staying with my sister." Thank you for staying to the end of this post. Now let me give you my reaction on this story. I believe your soon-to-be ex-wife might be grappling with similar emotional challenges that often affect women when they feel they have settled in a relationship. It seems she experienced a lack of attention, which led to excessive spending and engaging in one-night stands. It's possible that she was involved with other men who she perceived as more attractive or appealing. Given her consistent talk about divorce and regrets about marrying you, she might hold the belief that she deserved someone better. But I believe that after the divorce, she may realize the true consequences of her action as she interacts with different men. Despite having only one daughter to care for during her time as a stay-at-home mom, you were the primary contributor, which seemingly gave her the opportunity to engage in infidelity. As they say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and perhaps the situation could have been different had you separated early. On the positive side, her employment means that you may not have to provide alimony or child support. Best of luck moving forward. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. Please support the channel by hitting the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get some reaction on the comment section. What do you think about the story? Thank you and